Very pleased now to be rejoined here on the Ochoa by the one, the only, the legendary, the dashing, the debonair. You know him from ZGN Productions, rolling around high school football this time of year. Every time I check them out on Instagram, I feel like they're practically in the huddle. Our great friend here at Blogging the Boys, the one and only Chris Hanna. Chris, have you been hit by any of the 18-year-old players so far this year?
Thank you for having me. First off, no, there's been some close calls, but they like me, so they've been. I've had a couple people move me out of the way sometimes. So far I'm good. Nobody's been hit.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was a purposeful thing, but you're like right up there. So I thought maybe it was like an accident or something that would have happened. But your team is very good at what they do. So I understand you guys avoiding contact. I mentioned your team, ZGN Productions. You were here. It feels like yesterday. We're already at week 7 of the NFL season, and the Dallas Cowboys are on their bye. This episode of the Ocho that we're recording right now, you and I, it's Wednesday, October 18th for us. It's coming out on Thursday, October 19th. Are you a fan of the TV show Community, by the way?
No, actually, I've never seen it. So,
Man,
but now
October
that you were
October
it,
October 19th is a big thing in Community, so it was going to be
all
a
right,
cool moment for you and me if you had been, but just pretend that you were.
all right,
And
no,
it's actually this worked out really well for anyone for you, I think, and for us. For anyone who listens to this show, you were here, like I said, not too long ago, promoting your Tony Romo documentary that we didn't know when it was coming out, but it just so happened that it came out this particular week. And the show that I'm recording with you, we normally have on somebody who covers the team the Cowboys are about to play, but the Cowboys are on their bye week. So it just, again, worked out perfectly. And I hadn't told you this yet, but you're here because the film comes out tomorrow on Friday, October 20th. Tomorrow, Friday, is my birthday. So this was kind of a really great treat and surprise for me. So I'm really excited about this.
I didn't know that. You never told me that it's your birthday. So
Well, I wanted to wait for a cool. I couldn't tell you when we were like texting. I had to wait for like a cool moment. You know what I mean? So
That's
I've told you
awesome, man.
before. Tony, I've said before, Tony Romo is my. He will always hold a very special place in my heart that nobody will ever be able to match, just because of kind of my age. Speaking of my age, following his career and whatnot. But documentary release day is here. How excited are you, Chris?
I'm excited. I think in doing this documentary series with my former high school here in West Texas, Bleeding Red, the Baylor Highlander story, that and working on this figure skater, Gabby Delman, gold medalist doc. We're actually going back to Toronto. So plus editing like 3 others, it's like you're doing so much that you kind of forget that this big day that you've been waiting on for years is actually happening tomorrow. So it's really humbling. It's stressful. It's frustrating, but I'm happy. So I think, like I said, I'm probably gonna wait till midnight or past midnight. Hopefully, it's already there, and I can just be the first one to click buy or rent.
I'm very excited. So Friday's my birthday, as mentioned. This is coming out, and the new Spider-Man video game is coming out. You told us that you sold your PlayStation in your whole story of how you made this film. So
Yeah,
this is just like all of the factors and variables are kind of coalescing
everything's
and
coming
coming together.
together.
Exactly.
It's like all the gems are getting on the gauntlet, and here we go.
Right. So for anyone who didn't listen to the episode, first of all, serious jerk move on their part. Like, what are you doing listening to this one, but not that one? That was a mistake. Kind of a 30,000 foot perspective. You made a Tony Romo documentary. That is the very, very short, analysis of all that this was. I don't know if there's a name for this. You're the one who went to film school, but if you had to give someone the back of the DVD description or whatever, I'm sure there's a name for that, but on what this film is, what went into it, give us a refresher on your project that's coming out tomorrow finally.
Yeah, so that's actually called a log line. So the log line of this film would basically be Tony Romo, a kid from Burlington, Wisconsin, and how he climbed the ladder through high school and college and went on as an undrafted free agent to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And through his grassroots background, how did he become the superstar that he was for the Cowboys? And, the legendary person that he is now with CBS as a broadcaster. So that's really the log line of it. And so, yeah, I mean, in making the documentary and started off as a thesis and and people didn't even believe in it, including one of my teachers, who, by the way, has been commenting a lot on Facebook that she's very proud of me. So that's awesome, I guess. But you know, it was making the film and meeting Tony Romo and making it without knowing if he was going to be part of it. I mean, that was all a success. And once we got that done, you know, back in 2019, and then went on 2020 and survived the pandemic and got it out. Finally, you know, we've gone through 2 years of patiently waiting with the NFL to get the best deal possible, and we finally got the rights for a 3-year digital wide USA digital streaming that happens tomorrow on Friday. And our goal is that if enough people rent or buy it and our analytics are good, we do have enough interest from places like HBO or Showtime. And we hope to be bought out and be in a place where people can just stream it through those platforms. But if all we have is digital live, I'm happy with digital live, because really we were so close to being scared that this thing would be shelved and never see the light of day. So I really do thank God, and I thank all the family and friends and investors and people that believed. Tony Romo, I think Tony Romo and his whole family, that they kept believing. Everybody has kept believing. And so really, it sounds cliche, but as long as you believe and you keep working, I think you can make the impossible possible. And so I hope that people that want to start their careers, they do it. They just take a leap of faith and try to make something great happen.
So, you know, when you were explaining, by the way, log line. Now I'm a film school graduate. Look at me. The log line on like, there could be a documentary about how the documentary was made, and that's what the last episode that you and I recorded was kind of about. And so I know I asked for 30,000 foot perspective, but there was so much in the story of, you know, you mentioned the NFL and getting the rights, and obviously the pandemic happened, and all these weird timings of coincidence, Paramount Plus becoming a thing in that time span, and Romo obviously working for CBS, and there being kind of a natural relationship there, and ESPN Plus, and then his renegotiation of his own contract, and, you know, the existence of ESPN Plus. Like, I think, you know, I learned a lot in our conversation about what it's like to, you know, and I have a fraction of knowledge, obviously, to make a film and to distribute a film. And you, even now, talking about how, you know, hopefully you get bought out by one of these places. There's so much of a story that goes into how somebody has a film or a movie or a documentary or a television show on HBO Max or whatever it's called now. So it's fascinating in that sense. And I say that not to underscore all that you went through and the turmoil and the ups and the downs and the selling of the PlayStation and was it a guitar that you sold? I think your partner sold
a guitar and a PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but that's what's so exciting. So the film is called Now or Never, and starting Friday, you mentioned at midnight, obviously, beginning on October 20th. These are the platforms that people can access.
I don't know if they have a specific time, but they said
okay,
Friday.
so Friday by lunch.
Friday. Yes.
Yeah, Friday by lunch, generally speaking, people can access this. So let's get into the understanding. So I'm a casual person who wants to watch this. I can only rent it. I can buy it. Let's give me the 101, please. The platforms, and we'll share graphics about this so everyone can see this, and you know, so you don't miss anything. Prime Video, YouTube, Vudu, Exploreflix, Google Play, Hoopla. So first of all, is it a rent or buy thing? Give us, you know, everything we need to know.
Yeah, so all those platforms tomorrow, Friday, October 20th, Artie's birthday. Send him a gift. Send me a PlayStation as a thank you, right? Because
right, yeah.
I play Spider-Man 2, and Madden, right? But yes, right. So it will be available for rent and buy. So rent or buy, or both. Rent and buy it, you know? And so you'll be able to rent and buy it through you know, the one we're promoting definitely is Prime Video, because everybody has access to Prime Video, Google Play on your phone or your computer, Vudu, which is part of the Fandango company now, and Hoopla, and our distributor, if you don't know, Exploration Films, has also their own platform called Exploreflix. So they're promoting that too, which we're all about it. You know, we'll help each other because they believed in us. But really, you know, on Prime Video, just go and search Now or Never. Tony Romo, and if it's not showing, just put Tony Romo, it'll show up. Now or Never, or Tony Romo, or Tony Romo, Now or Never, you know? So it's really special, man, because I think at some point it was like Now or Never started feeling like for our story, right? Like it's like it's Now or Never for us, like if this doesn't happen. And so there's a lot of correlations between the making of the film and Tony's story and our story. And so, yeah, we're really just thankful that we have this opportunity to finally see it out for people to watch at home.
Is there a like, I'm just gonna be blunt, is there a platform that you benefit more from just to push people in one particular direction? You said you were pushing Prime Video because obviously everybody has Amazon. By the way, this is coming out on Friday, one day after Thursday Night Football. So if you watched Thursday Night Football, if you have the capabilities to watch that, you have the capabilities obviously to rent or buy this movie. But is there a platform that you benefit more from that we can push traffic towards specifically?
Yeah, I would say Prime Video, definitely.
Okay.
Because, we could even run into a special situation where maybe Amazon Studios would maybe buy it because it's already there for rent or buy. So maybe it's easier for them to just be like, all right, we'll just move it here, So that would be really cool. And Amazon has a history of working with the Cowboys, through their own
Right. Well,
docuseries.
speaking of Now or Never, they did the All or Nothing. Yeah, on the 2017 teams. That was 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, so now they can have All or Nothing and Now or Never, right? So both same, so it would be perfect. So Amazon, if any representatives here listening to this, let's do this. But yeah, I would say Prime Video, and obviously Google Play is a good one too, because people can watch it while they're flying out or while they're on the bus or wherever on their phones with their cool headphones. So that's also something good. But Prime Video is where we can definitely drive the analytics and hopefully get bought out, which is really the dream. But big dream, the main dream is already fulfilled, hopefully at midnight tonight.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of my only question that I really have at this point, besides the technical side of things, is like, what does this feel like? I mean, again, we talked for like an hour and change last time, and 10 or so minutes right now, but this has to be like a really beautiful and frightening and chaotic and enriching and exhilarating sort of moment for you. What with this thing you've spent at this point most of your adult life, just like life post 18 working towards. I mean, you mentioned you've developed a production company in the process of it all, but that was this like catalyst that led to your life and career. And now that particular thing, like, I know this is a long way of asking the question. I always think it's interesting whenever you see like promotion for a movie, like a big time whatever movie, how they'll be like, yeah, well, when we were filming like 3 years ago, I'll be like, what the hell took so long? If you filmed it 3 years ago, but like the story is a big deal and editing and things like that. But what's it like for you to feel this day finally?
It feels real. I think that's the main thing. It feels like all those nights of fear, of letting doubt in, of will this even be seen? And then I still have that, making this new series and this Gabby thing. Will it even sold? Will it even be seen? And right now that you're asking that question, I'm like, yeah, it will. Because if we were able, not just me, but my partners, if we were able to get this done and get this seen after years, it just shows that the others will only get in as well, because this one will pave the way for, Now or Never's brother films, sister films, right, that are coming out that we've been working on for more time. But it feels real, it feels humbling, blessed and thankful to everybody, because you always kind of start doubting yourself, like if it's even gonna happen or this and that. But then you start thinking of God wouldn't want me to have gotten this far if it wasn't meant to be. And so all the challenges and obstacles and fear and dark nights and everything that I went through, I feel like they're just they're things that I know that God wanted me to learn and be able to get through, so that I can only do it simpler and easier and be a better leader at leading my team into the next projects. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel thankful for being able to be part of Tony Romo's legacy and Tony Romo's life, and went into the Dallas Cowboys not only as a fan, but also as a storyteller. And so I hope that Jerry Jones gets to watch this film at some point, or any of the other players. To me, it'll feel like I fulfilled. I'll be known as a guy that did this independent documentary, sold this PlayStation, and made it happen. And so ultimately, I just feel thankful and emotional, and I think the tears will probably come out later on tonight. But again, and thanks to you and Blogging the Boys and everybody that's been promoting us, and I just feel like the dominoes will fall, and eventually I think people will know about this film. So I think the main thing is if you watch it, tell your cousin, tell your uncle, tell all your Cowboy fans, because that's who we are as Cowboy fans. We have so many people around us that are Cowboy fans, and we'll tell them, and we'll even tell the hater Cowboy fans, and they'll watch it because they just want to hate on it. And so please watch it, because I've had a lot of fans that are anti-Cowboys watch it and be like, I used to hate Tony Romo, but now I love him. He's such a good guy. So that's really what I'm proud of, is that we made a film that transcends being a Cowboy fan, and it really shows people that it's really a film about a small town guy that had a big dream, made it happen, and like him, so many of us can do the same thing.
I think that's really cool. We live in an age of so many stories like now being able to be told because of the level of technology and level of streaming services and things like that. And I bring that up because my wife and I recently started the David Beckham limited series. And I don't know if you've had it. You've been very busy, but I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it. And so I don't know if you're a soccer fan. I'm a Manchester United fan. So it's really cool for me and obviously he and his wife are one of the most famous couples in the world, but my wife has like no understanding of who or his like the details of his story. And so we were watching and she was just like riveted to learn all this information. And I think you'll get a lot of that. Like, I think that some people assume like, oh, everybody knows Tony Romo's story. There's a lot of people who don't know that. And I think that you'll like the kind of aliens who land in who have no idea what's going on. I think it's a really powerful story. I think yours is a really powerful story. You've spoken about your faith. I've been vocal about my faith a lot in the past, and I know people have different beliefs and things like that, so I don't mean to make this about that. But it reminds me of Frank Reich, who is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if you recall how he got the job with the Indianapolis Colts, but the long story shortened is Josh McDaniels had agreed to become the Colts head coach. He backed out at the last second. They had no other option, and they hired Frank Reich. And everybody had wanted to see Frank Reich get this head coaching opportunity, and it finally happened, but in this unorthodox sort of way. And I remember he did a podcast with Peter King, and Peter was like, Frank, you're really devout in your faith. Like, do you thank God for these opportunities and things like that? And Frank said something that I've applied a lot to my life, and it sounds like you've really lived out. He said, yes, but I thank God just as much for the failures. Like the failures, like every failure I had to this point mattered just as much and had just as much God involved as all of the successes. Like it's not just the high points that are God showing up and acting in your life. It's what you deem to be failure. Some things you feel like failures, maybe not, or whatever the case may be. So I don't mean to suggest you had failures along the way, but you mentioned the long nights, the wonderments of whether or not this would happen. All of those played just as much of a role, and I hope you feel the satisfaction from all of them as much as you do the cool emails and the positive things and the things that were objective step forwards. I hope it all is kind of sitting with you in a way that you get the emotion that you deserve out of all this.
Yeah, 100%. Not only do I thank God for the good and being able to have this opportunity to finally show the USA for now, the film. Hopefully the world at some point, but one step at a time. I do thank God for showing me the obstacles and the challenges that meant to do something this big. Because now I'm able to go through the markets, go through making films simpler, easier understanding. And yeah, one of my biggest failures was being too just feeling like just because I got the guy means that everything's gonna happen, and just overachieving and really not understanding that there's legalities, not understanding that there's rights, not understanding all these things. And so I feel like that was a big thing that I had to learn and had to go through, and it was that difficult to go through that now I understand why God wanted me to know this, why He wanted me to teach me this. And not trying to preach it, whether you believe in the universe or you don't, you have to go through the bad to understand why the good is good and why we can't take it for granted. And so sometimes we take for granted the bad that's happening in our lives, because in order to succeed, we need to have gone through adversity. And if we don't go through adversity, then how are we going to succeed, and how are we going to appreciate the success?
That's really well said. So once again, this is accessible starting Friday, October 20th. I'll say them again. Prime Video, YouTube, Vudu, Explore Flix, Google Play, Hoopla. We'll have an article up on our site at blogontheboys.com over the weekend that has all the information you need to know. You can also get it. I don't know if I will at this point by the time people are listening to or seeing this, but you can see the trailer all over mine and Blog on the Boys' social media properties. If you need to, you can follow ZGN_Productions and Now or Never Doc on Instagram. Get all the information you need to know there, and hopefully all the reviews of success that are to follow from here. You did it, Chris. You did it. Congratulations. You made it.
Yeah, thank you. We did it. You know, the team, the partners, the friends, the ones that have always been there. My mother, who's done so much to help me out get through this. And so at the end of the day, you know, this film, I know it's touched a lot of people through our festival run, but you know, I really hope that it makes a difference in young kids' lives, that they too can make it. And one final thing I can say is, in showing Tony Romo's Mexican American background, I've had a lot of people who were just kind of blown away.
Sure.
That Romo was Mexican American, because a lot of people think he's Italian because of Romo.
Sure.
And so, no, it's not a Romo, it's Romo, right? So I'm really excited that people will be able to look at themselves in his life, because I did, being here from the borderland of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. So I hope that it touches more people, and you watch it and you enjoy it, and you use this film to drive you and be motivated through your own success.
That's really, really well said. And we talked about that last time, obviously, as a Mexican American myself, that hits with me, lots of members of my family, like we talked about. So really looking forward to seeing all of the success this film is going to have. So I want to be very clear. Everyone, the first thing they have to watch this weekend is Now or Never. But last time you recommended, I think it was Gran Turismo, the movie.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Yeah.
Still
if you had,
but watch Now or Never first.
That's what I'm saying. So if you had to recommend something else to watch after Now or Never, Doc, this weekend, because the Cowboys are on bye, so people have a little bit more time on their hands. Something they can watch at home, because at the time Gran Turismo was in theaters. Again, it can be old, it can be new, but you're somebody who you know the term log line. You know what I mean? Like, you're somebody who knows more about this than we do. So what is something you recommend to watch once again after completion of Now or Never, and after having told everybody that everybody knows about Now or Never?
I would go the route of sports. So you were talking about David Beckham. I don't know if you've seen the series that's out on Disney Plus called Save Our Squad.
Okay.
Beckham, have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh man, it's so good. That's actually kind of like why I'm doing this series as well, because he literally goes back to his old club before he even, made it as a pro, and he goes back and like helps that club get back into its winning ways, with kids and making. So that's why I do like Beckham, because he actually goes back and tries to make a difference in kids' lives, and that's what Save Our Squad, streaming on Disney Plus, and hopefully maybe we'll end up on Disney Plus if I'm promoting them. So come on, Disney, let's go.
Yeah, Disney. If you're
Tony Romo Story first, and then you can keep that train and then watch Save Our Squad, because I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful series as well.
Well said. Okay. I'll check it out after I watch Now or Never 10 different times from 10 different devices, 10 different subscriptions. That's the plan. Chris Hanna, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck. We're rooting for you in the film, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.